What were some of our top expert insights for entrepreneurial business success in 2021? We have a list.
This is the Economics for Business podcast. We are here to help all businesses become champions for customers and value, improving lives with preferred and innovative products and services. We offer you the knowledge and tools to make your entrepreneurial journey a successful one. Now, here's your host, Hunter Hastings.
Hi, Hunter Hastings here. At Economics for Business, our vision is a more entrepreneurial society. That means more value generation for customers. It means more individuals and teams starting businesses. It means that the middle class of business, small and medium-sized enterprises, find new and more profitable ways to grow and expand. It means the bureaucracy and cronyism of big businesses gives way to creativity and innovation. Our mission is to help by organizing knowledge and resources to support entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. We encapsulate our mission in 3 words: inform, equip, inspire. We inform via our organized content on the econ4business.com website. That's ECON, the number 4, business.com. We encourage you to go there and search. We equip by expressing this knowledge in the form of tools, processes, checklists, methods, illustrations, case studies, value maps, and more that you can use to help make decisions, prioritize, and advance. We inspire by gathering a community where you can interact with others who may have gained experience that's valuable to you, and we'll share it in our community function. Inform, equip, inspire. Through knowledge, tools, and community. We're adding capacity to fulfill that mission every day. What we thought we could do at the close of 2021 is review just a few of the elements we've added this year as an example for you to judge whether we've been true to the mission. The first of our expert insights comes from Per Bylund, and it's this: successful entrepreneurs are those who do apply the principles of Austrian economics. They just don't always realize it. We'll call them Austrian entrepreneurs anyway, or Austrians for short. How is this the case? Reason 1 is that they understand value in a way that boardrooms and consultants and CEOs often don't. They know that value is subjective. It's in the mind of the customer. And they don't get confused by concepts like shareholder value or stakeholder value or strategic management. They focus on customer value. And they further realize that customer value is an experience and a process. It's an experience that involves doing things and then learning from doing. In fact, says Per, customers are learning what to want. They can't articulate exactly what they want because the subjective need is non-specific. It's what Austrians call unease or dissatisfaction. They know their current experience isn't exactly how they'd prefer it, so they look out for alternatives, gather some information, assess some choices, make some comparisons, try some new things, see how they feel, and make an evaluation. Ultimately, they're trying to fit new products and new experiences into their life and into their subjective value system. It's a learning process for them. Entrepreneurial businesses know this and help the customer to learn what to like and make it clear and obvious that they're genuinely there to help the customer realize their highest values. The businesses are empathic and ethical. It's the ethic of service to others, helping them to achieve their goals. It's also humble. Entrepreneurs don't claim to have all the answers. They simply claim to listen well, to respond as best they can with solutions, and listen again to see how close they came to customer satisfaction. There's no strategy in the conventional business school sense. There's exploration. Per called it explore, 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 and keep exploring. Exploring ways to generate value through customer satisfaction. Never stop. That's how entrepreneurs succeed. After the fact, we can sometimes reverse engineer how they did it and often attribute success to one great decision or one instance of leadership or one feature or one launch. But in reality, it's never like that. It's humbly fitting into the customer's system, making it a little bit better for them by focusing on what's valuable for them. Building on this insight that we call Austrian Value Theory, Per Bylund was joined on episode number 108 by Packard, And the two together discussed the empowering and enabling changes in conventional business thinking that result from Austrian value theory. We recorded 10 of these changes and we summarized them in one of the graphic tools we provide free at econforbusiness.com. We'll mention some of them here. First, rethink the role of the customer in business. They're not a receiver or consumer of the value that the firm creates. They're a partner in creating it. They demand new solutions. Firms don't imagine them. Customers generate innovations by expressing dissatisfaction with what's available today. They contribute their resources in the form of their time and effort and knowledge and skill and prior experience and granting access to their system. It's not just their money. The customer is sovereign in the way that economics states it. That means put them in charge, give them the lead role. As a result, you'll rethink the role of your business. You become a junior partner in the co-creation of value with customers. You design propositions based on what you learn from them, and you submit the proposition for their approval. They'll generate the demand and the willingness to pay. You'll respond and listen and learn how close you're able to get. You rethink your business model. Make sure it's relational and not transactional. Make sure it's a process for co-navigation with your partner, the customer. If possible, let them generate all the new ideas and new value. Rethink your metrics. Value is qualitative, not quantitative. So don't look for numbers to tell you the story of how your business is performing. Learn to look for and listen for qualitative signals, feelings, perceptions, preferences, and sincerely held values. Use management without measurement. Similarly with outputs, don't try to measure KPIs or other quantified results. Observe behavior. Analyze it for motivation. Try to find the drivers of motivation on whether or not you are energizing those drivers. Numbers don't tell you, customers do. Consequently, you'll rethink organization. It's clear that the most important role in your firm is dealing directly with customers and getting their first-hand reports on value. Empower the frontline employees who do this. And be proud of your business's role. Don't listen to the critics of capitalism. You're providing social value by co-creating customer value. It's the best thing you can do for people, society, and civilization. What are the implications of this value-dominant logic and customer sovereignty for business strategy, or what the business schools call strategic management? Well, the implication is clear. Don't do it. Don't listen to them. In episode number 127, Matt McCaffrey explained how strategy is emergent, not planned. Most of the sanctioned approaches to strategy are top-down. Strategy defined by some elite group, typically the C-suite confirmed by the board of directors. There's a plan of action and there's a resource allocation to tell the rest of the firm what to do. A periodic assessment of reported results on a long lag time, and more of the same next year, with maybe a few adjustments. Matt offered 4 different dimensions of what we might call Austrian business strategy. The first is continuous learning, in place of the supposed rationality of planning. The top-down models attempt rationalization. They view strategy as a rational design problem, to shape a distinctive internal competence in order to seize an external opportunity and evade external threats. This approach overlooks the crucial problem of learning. In circumstances of uncertainty, unpredictability, complexity, and change, learning is the essential method of making progress. Changing conditions can never be known fully enough or fast enough by people at the center in the strategic planning department compared to the frontline employees. Firms must find a way to make use of this frontline knowledge through learning with adjustment at speed. How do they do that? Through what Matt called dispersion versus centralization. To enable the freedom to learn and to apply learning, decision-making is dispersed throughout the organization. A single mind or a single planning unit can't centralize all the knowledge and can't centralize the decision-making. A strategic plan, so-called, is not even feasible. In fast-growth companies, organizational design and decision-making processes are decentralized and dispersed. Third, says Matt, focus on implementation. what we Austrians call action, rather than formulation of plans. A comprehensive plan is impossible, so seek a more adaptive approach. Design a capability of adaptation to unforeseen events and new information. Make continuous, deliberate adjustments in the light of new circumstances, which may arise every day. That's why we Austrians redefine strategy as emergent and not formulated via a planning process. Adaptive firms implement entrepreneurial actions. They act, they do, and then they adapt to the learning, the new knowledge, and the new circumstances that present themselves as a result. Act first. Strategy shouldn't shape the structure of your company's organization. Take the opposite approach. The structure of your firm, its organization, its processes, its interface with the customers, shapes strategy. The firm can't be organized based on some vision from the top. You can't restructure an existing organization every time a new vision comes along. The firm should be loosely organized to learn and flex, and change continuously without reorganization or restructuring. Strategy is exploration and experimentation rather than planning. Firms are always exploring, seeking ways to improve performance. When some experiments yield promising results, they can be expanded. Explore and expand is a trade-off. How much of the available resources should be allocated to each type of activity? Entrepreneurs manage the trade-off in order to succeed. There's no strategic plan from on high to make the trade-off for them. This all sounds very challenging, but there is a secret key to unlock the mystery of adaptive business in the face of continuous change, and it goes by the name of OODA. Mark McGrath joined us in episode number 138 to explain OODA's background and application. First, it's critical to acknowledge another acronym, VUCA, V-U-C-A. We live and operate amidst complexity, that's the C in VUCA, and conditions are ever changing and volatile, that's the V. There's ambiguity, that's the A. You can never be sure of exactly the meaning of information that comes to you because of subjectivity. And there's uncertainty, that's the U. Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, VUCA. Live with it and love it. How? By implementing OODA, O-O-D-A. The first O is for observation. Watch and listen and interact and gather as much information as possible. Try not to judge it at this stage, although that's hard because your experience and context is giving you implicit guidance, but as much as possible, be a dispassionate data collector. Pull all your observations together and then process them with the second O, your orientation. Orientation is your greatest weapon. It's how you perceive and process all the information you've observed. An entrepreneur's orientation is different than most folks. Entrepreneurs process information systematically. They ask, what does the data that I'm observing mean in the context of the market system in which I operate? And entrepreneurs process information through customer sovereignty. How can this information be utilized to make my customer's life better? And most of all, entrepreneurs process information through the value lens. How does this information contribute to potential or actual value generation? Orientation becomes experience from your built-in biases and preferences, from your cultural and business background, from your education and learning. It's the way you think. Be aware of your orientation and be open to adjusting it. Why? Because it determines your decision-making and your actions. The D and the A in OODA are decision-making and action. There's a critically important insight in OODA that helps tremendously with clarity and confidence. It's this: a decision is simply a hypothesis based on the information you've processed. It's a test. You can't be certain because of VUCA. So don't try to be, and don't stress about it. Establish the hypothesis, your best guess, then act on it quickly. Action is the test of the hypothesis. How do you ascertain how the test is working? Through the feedback loop from your customer and the market. New information for you to observe and process through your orientation. Business and life is continuous testing, rapid processing, continuous adaptation. We develop more stable guidance and perhaps even a modicum of control as we proceed through the OODA loop again and again. The greatest guidance comes from a well-understood purpose. The reason entrepreneurs cycle through the OODA loop again and again is in pursuit of a purpose. And in business, that purpose is value generation. By applying all these principles, we can expect better results in value generation and therefore in business success and entrepreneurial profits. OODA is another performance tool in our adaptive toolbox. Our fifth expert insight in this compendium concerns how to organize for subjectivity, for the emergent business plan, and for adaptiveness. The formal hierarchical military org chart just doesn't work. It's the wrong model for the digital age. We've heard that confirmed by several of our expert guests this year. What's the alternative? Ulrich Moeller gave us one in episode number 133. No hierarchy. He calls his model the bossless organization. No bosses to tell employees what to do. Everyone does what they want. Sounds like a fantasy? No, it's a reality. Ulrich's concept is built from a case study, that of the game producer Valve, a multi-billion-dollar, multi-decade success story in a highly contested value generation space. Here's the logic of going bossless. 1. Creativity is the core resource, the most important skill in game development. 2. Creative employees are key to a firm's capabilities. 3. Creative people are most productive when left to express their own creativity in their own way. Hierarchy blocks creativity, as do planning and routine. 4. So, how to design a company to attract and retain the sort of people who are able to take the boldest creative steps? The answer? Let employees decide what to work on. Let them exercise entrepreneurial judgment. Let them, in effect, do both strategy and implementation. Give them all the decision rights. Let them identify customers and customer preferences, since they know the customer best, and many of them are customers. Let them decide how best to address those preferences. Let them decide how to achieve competitive differentiation. Let them allocate resources, choose costs, manage profitability. Let them control quality and decide when software is ready to ship. Valve employees work in self-organizing teams and are free to migrate from team to team and free to change their roles. How is this made to work? By using a core concept from complex adaptive systems theory as articulated by Austrian economists, especially F.A. Hayek, a long time ago. It's this: operate with a few simple rules. The most significant of these rules at Valve is the rule of 3, a simple agreement that at least 3 individuals must concur on the initiation of a new project or on other major decision points. The emergent standard was that this is just enough to prevent maverick behavior and a low enough number to facilitate agile action that's not bureaucratically constrained. Another rule is social proof. This is a broader and looser peer review standard. If the original team wishes to recruit more members, they must persuade others of the value-generating potential of the project, in competition with other projects in the firm. Successfully doing so constitutes social proof of value. Conventional approaches to organization design focus on structure, such as command and control hierarchy, or structured networks, or strategic business units, or functional departments. Instead of structure, think flow. How can you attract a flow of the most creative people to your venture? How can you encourage the most productive flows of bold, creative thinking? How can teams best assemble and collaborate for the most productive output? How can you integrate with the user community in the best way? How can the most value-generative products attract the best resources? These are all questions about flow. Austrian economics is distinctive in viewing capital as a flow, and this view holds true for human capital, just as much as physical capital. Emergent rules for self-organizing human systems can perform all the managerial functions that were historically left to control structures. Finally, all of this, the subjective value understanding, the customer sovereignty perspective, the embrace of emergence rather than planning, the adaptiveness, and the distributed decision-making throughout the organization, can be summed up as the entrepreneurial method. We learned it from Dr. Saras Sarasvathy, the acknowledged, far and away leading thinker and researcher regarding entrepreneurship in what she called the middle class of business. The entrepreneurial method is a systematic way to achieve the unpredictable. Some people fear entrepreneurship because its outcomes are uncertain. But this fear constitutes worrying about the wrong things. Outcomes are outside your control. Entrepreneurs are more discerning about what can be controlled, the means you utilize, rather than the outcomes you can't predict. They choose a control strategy that's appropriate to uncertainty. There are several to choose from. There's the bird in the hand principle. Work with what you've got and can control, which Dr. Sarasvathy sums up in the questions, who am I? What do I know? Whom do I know? What resources do I own or control now? This is the first principle. Know the answers and act accordingly. There's the affordable loss principle. Entrepreneurs can control their downside, making it affordable and limiting uncertainty by asking, what one value generation project would I undertake even if I risk losing everything I invest in it? There's the crazy quilt principle. How do entrepreneurs control the uncertain process of identifying the right partners, including hiring the right people? They don't try to predict the results of hiring and pitching. Instead, don't hire, don't ask, just talk to people. Those who fit will self-select into your project. There's the lemonade principle. Don't fear the unexpected, welcome surprises. All unexpected happenings are opportunities and can become resources. Leverage contingency, make lemonade out of lemons. There's the pilot is the plane principle. Everyone in the plane is a pilot, co-engaged in shaping history. The plane will reach a destination, the exact nature of which is unclear, and everyone on the plane contributes to getting there. As we saw earlier, the driver of this method is action, not strategy, not ideas, not capital, but action. Action includes interaction and reaction, things you care about, things you can actually do, things we can do together, and how we handle surprises together. Interacting with the environment with a sense of purpose means we can change it in some way. The entrepreneurial method uses even if thinking. Even if a new idea does not work out, what is the worst that can happen? We shouldn't make decisions just because we can't predict the future. Embrace the unpredictable, but make sure the downside is under your control. An interaction recognizes that the great productivity of entrepreneurship comes from more minds than one. Two or more people can interact and come up with something neither one had actually thought about or dealt with or considered or contemplated before. You achieve this breakthrough by asking a question. I'm doing this. What do you think? So let's teach everyone the entrepreneurial method. Let everyone start companies, grow companies, invest in companies, all with no thought of prediction. A middle class of business will emerge, defined not by income but by venturing. The middle class will produce more jobs and more enduring, more stable companies embedded in strong communities with greater well-being and less churn. The fruits of creativity take root in endurance and durability and contribute to stability and the taking on of bigger challenges. Decade after decade, the middle class of business will generate value and produce wealth, employing lots of people and educating successive generations to take the entrepreneurial method with them into a better future. That's our summary. We've highlighted 6 of our 50-plus podcasts for the year. You can find all the rest and a whole lot more value in the form of articles, tools, videos, and discussions at econ4business.com. That's ECON, the number 4, business.com.
Economics for Business is a production of the Mises Institute. To explore more content like this, visit econ4business.com. And for more from Hunter Hastings, visit hunterhastings.com.